Oh man, welcome back to the channel, folks. As you can see, I'm hyped up. If you're hyped up for wood heat season, please hit that thumbs up, please subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, welcome back. As you can see, I am super happy. This is my favorite time of the year. We are going to be starting up our outdoor boiler in the next video though. But in today's video, we're going to do some maintenance, some pre-flight checklist before we get this machine absolutely roaring. It is about 45 degrees out here in beautiful New Hampshire, and we have a central boiler CL6048. And today, without further ado, we're going to cover some pre-flight checklists, pre-burn season maintenance. Now, here's the thing. If you've already started your machine, it's quite all right. You can still do all the stuff with the machine running. Just let your fire fizzle out, and then you can do everything I'm about to show you. So without further ado, folks, let's get right into it. All right, folks, we're gonna peacefully hop you off the mothership. First thing, visual inspection. As you can see, for those of you who consistently follow the channel, we almost dropped a tree on this, so you want to make sure that your roof, your cap on your water is still there, nice and loose. You have no dents, nothing that maybe you missed. Open your access panel here and make sure there's no critters in there saying hello. Make sure nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, there's no bees nest now, but make sure there's no rats, no bees. Make sure you have no chewed wires. Everything looks good, still nice and soft. Okay, so that takes care of that. Moving right along, again, just quick visual inspection. Making sure, oh, look at that, free firewood. Must have fell from the sky. Again, checking it. Obviously, we have a dent here, which we've known about, that's been there. Just quick visual, so that's step number one. Step number two, and again, this varies from model to model, but step number two is we are going to oil our damper here, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. All right, folks, so first thing we're gonna do is, only the appropriate wrench to use here is a chainsaw wrench. We could use sockets, but this is what we had kicking around in the saw shed. We got a few of these. We have a few chainsaws. We cut a little bit of firewood, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, so pop this cover off. Now let's look at our solenoid. Again, part of the visual inspection, make sure that your damper vents here are clean. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this kind of like you'd clean a grill. We're gonna get all this buildup off, get this crap off, make sure we get some good airflow here. And then without further ado, folks, this is your damper. This is why I love the Classics, because this is the only thing besides the heat pump that controls the whole unit. So we're gonna get some WD-40 and we're gonna spray this solenoid, spray all these springs down, and we'll be good to roll. All right, so again, taking some WD, we're gonna just spray this solenoid. This opens and closes about 1 million times during the course of the heating season. I'm probably not joking either. So again, you could spray your springs there, your cotter pins, your little pivot pins there. It's not gonna hurt. So just give that a quick little spray, and then we can put the cover back on. Another thing too is if you reach in here and check, I've obviously cleaned all this, but make sure your seal here where the metal on metal is, make sure that's clean. You don't have any major buildup there. Some people even take this damper off. I really don't. So again, just spray it all down. It's basically how it works. When the unit calls for heat, boom, the solenoid opens. When it doesn't call for heat, solenoid shuts. So can't go wrong with that. I mean, me being a mechanic, I love things, the less moving parts, the better, truthfully, if you ask me. So we're gonna go ahead and put this cover on and move on to the next thing. So while you are here with the WD, you can spray your door pins here. Some people put grease on them. It's not the end of the world. Whatever you want to do here, to each their own. Just give it some juice, you'll be fine. Same thing over here, just give everything a little bit of a squirt. Doesn't matter, a couple moving parts, again, nothing fancy. So next thing you want to check is your rope seal here. So let's have a look at that. First of all, if you guys follow the channel, this fluid film, it's the piece of resistance. But anyways, let's go ahead and do a visual inspection on our rope seal here. So we just changed this last year. Some people change them every year, to each their own. I'm going to show you how to check it, but I know it visually looks good. There's not a lot of creosote burnout. It's actually still in very good shape. We just changed it out last year. Again, checking all around. They don't hurt. Doesn't hurt to change every year. Doesn't hurt to actually have one on hand, truthfully. It wouldn't hurt to have a spare. But let's show you how you check. So how to check your rope seal. Again, just grab $1. And as you can see, my hands are greasy. It's already dirty. Grab a $1 bill Don't grab 100, grab a dollar bill. If you want to grab 100 and mail it to me, be my guest. But close your door, give the dollar bill a tug. If that dollar bill doesn't move, you got a good connection there. So again, just go around, give old Washington there a tug. If Washington doesn't move, if he's a stubborn little guy, doesn't want to come out, you're good. And you can just do that around the whole part of the outdoor wood boiler. So again, give it a tug. Washington doesn't want to really go anywhere. So you know, you just defaced some US currency, but that's quite all right. Maybe we'll burn it, who knows? Oh no. All right folks, now that you took old Washington on a trip around the door, you want to open it up and visually inspect your firebox. Now, if you open up your firebox and you got a puddle of water in the bottom of it, it's pretty clear cut. You have some serious issues here. But again, our firebox looks good. I wouldn't eat off of it because it's oil coated, but as the saying goes, it's super clean. You could eat off of it. We spend a lot of time scraping the creosote out, and we use 6 cans of fluid film, and we sprayed the heck out of this. So this firebox looks good. Our door frame looks good. We have a little bit of breakdown here. When we first moved in, the door seal was bad and it was sucking in air. That's what happens. We can address that in another video though. But anyways, without further ado, that'll last for this year. It doesn't leak. That's why we change our rope seal every year. So as you can see, it's a little bit recessed back, but we don't get any air penetration. So we're gonna have to deal with that in the future. But without further ado, let's continue. So now would be the time to check your water. So I open that valve, the water comes out right to the full mark here. Really tough to see because this is all covered in ash and whatnot. But check your water. If there's no water in your machine, you either have a leak inside your firebox, or you have a leak in the pumps here, or there's a shutoff down there. Maybe that shutoff is leaking. So make sure your machine has water in it, as primitive as that sounds. All right, so moving around to the back of the unit, you want to check our chimney now. So again, quick little latch here. Quarter turn. Let's pop this bad boy off. As you can see here, let's turn our light on. Oh my goodness, let there be light. So you can clean this out. I recommend wearing gloves, but you just want to give a good visual inspection. We changed this chimney out a few years ago, and it's holding out pretty good. Obviously we have some soot buildup, but that's quite all right. First fire roaring, it'll burn all that out. So I can't really see on camera, but if I put the light in up the chimney, you want to do a visual inspection on the chimney. I'll probably climb up there and look down. That's usually what I do because I got to get that bucket off anyway. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and do that? Why don't we, instead of talking about it, let's actually do it. So we are up here closer to God. Pop this bucket off. You don't want, obviously, you should have a bucket on top of your boiler in the off season for rain and birds and moisture and anything else that wants to. All right, so in you go. Do a visual inspection inside the chimney. I'm sure it looks good. We can brush it another day, but we need to get our bucket off anyways because we're starting up our machine. So I'm sure it looks good. I'm sure it looks great. Yeah, let's go ahead and get off this ladder here, and we should never, ever leave ash in this machine when it's not running, and I'm going to show you why. So again, here we're back at the chimney here. Look at this. I left ash in this. Do you see that? You see how wet that is? Moisture, 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 moisture. Ash collects moisture here. Now I don't know, maybe the ring was leaking. I'm not sure, but that ash was very wet. Let's go ahead and get this stuff out of here. Oh yeah, this is a little bit wet too. You should always have a mask on. Do as they say, not as I do, as the old saying goes. But this ash, I could feel the moisture in there. I thought I cleaned this T-fitting out at the end of last year. Apparently I didn't. So I learned that lesson. Guess maybe a formality, but clean all this crap out. Get that ash out. We'll be ready to roll here. But you saw it first. Ash is an insulator. It'll hold moisture. So you want to get and clean all that. Wow, that looks way better. Check that out, huh? So yep. Don't leave ash in your chimneys. Don't leave ash in your firebox because you will get a layer of moisture and it could prematurely rot out your firebox. So don't do that. All right, so now that that's all clean, go ahead and put your cover back in there. Quarter turn to the right. Grab your band clip here. Put your band clip back on with one hand holding the camera. Oh my goodness, would you look at that? First try. And chimney's good to go. Oh, look how good you guys look. Say hi to yourself. All right, folks, as you can see, I'm having a lot of fun with this video. Wood heat and the wood boiler videos bring a lot of views and attention to the channel. So, it's my favorite time of the year. So, without further ado, we're all done. This battle area is ready to run. So, again, visual inspection. Make sure you have no dings, no dents, no animals, no raccoons, no Loch Ness monsters, anything living in there that you don't want living in there. Number 2, oil, WD-40. Don't use a grease. That's an electrical part. It's WD-40 silicone base. That's what you want to use. WD-40 on the solenoid. Check the flap. Check behind the flap damper. Make sure, again, there's nothing, no buildup in there. Oil your door hinges. Visually inspect your firebox. Check the pumps. Check any fittings. Check your water. 48 hours after you start up your machine, you should test your water. Don't worry, I'll bring you guys along. I'm going to be doing that. What else did we do? We checked the chimney. We cleaned the chimney T. I didn't realize there was some buildup in there, but overall, you don't need a cap. Don't run a cap. I don't care what the EPA says. Caps on these machines run way better without a chimney cap, and they're not going to rot. They're not going to collect birds. Nothing is going to fly in there and live. So let me tell you that. So without further ado, guys, that concludes today's video. Thank you guys for following along. Our pre-flight checklist is done. We have our nice patio pavers here that I did with my dad a few videos back. Hope you guys have been loving the content here. And without further ado, I think the next video, we're going to start this thing up. So we will see you on that video. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this helps. If you've already started your outdoor boiler, you can still do all this. Just make sure your machine is in the not running cycle and it's burned out most of the wood, because you don't want to be opening and closing doors when you have a roaring fire in there. So without further ado, guys, thank you for watching. And like I always say, we will see you out in the woods.